Merry Christmas, everyone. I mean, if you celebrate it, if you don't, happy holidays. But for me, it is Christmas, and as you can see, I'm wearing this wonderful sweater. When I'm filming this isn't Christmas. I'm pretty sure you know that that is not a thing that's happening, but I figured since this video would release on Christmas, I would get into the Christmas spirit, dress up a little bit, and give you a list of the books that I am getting as presents for myself this year, in the sense that I wanted to share a romance arc TBR with you guys because I learned nothing from the last time I requested too many arcs. This time it's not too many, it is just a list, and so I thought I would share some of these with you so you can know what I'm excited about, maybe pick up some new reads that you didn't know about, and we can hold me accountable later if I don't end up getting to these books to review them. So I am limiting this list to the first quarter, or winter/spring of 2024. So this is the releases that I want to review in January, February, and March. And then maybe in March I will give another list of maybe some of the ones that I have keyed up for those next months. So that is how I've limited this list. I am including releases that are super hype, and Michaela and I are so hype on them, we're actually reviewing them together, which is super exciting. But I have some really good stuff to share with you guys. Some authors that are new to me, some that are the next book of an author I really loved, and some other stuff I may have taken a chance on, but we'll talk about it. So the first book that I want to talk about is Red String Theory by Lauren Kung Jessen, and this is the author who wrote Lunar Love, which I reviewed at the beginning of 2023 and absolutely adored. It was so cute and heartwarming, and it made me have emotions. Like, it was just, there was some deep family tie stuff in there. There was just, you can watch my review for more on that, but I absolutely adored it. So Lauren has a new one coming out, and it seems also super cute. The tagline is, "This charming fated love rom-com about two star-crossed lovers." So basically what happens here is that there is a female character who is into fate. She's an artist, and she believes in the theory that your soulmate is basically tied to you by red string, and she meets this guy who seems perfect, but he doesn't believe, i.e., their ways of thinking about this are just totally diametrically opposed. And can she make him believe in fate too, or will he disillusion her? It's a romance novel, so I can kind of guess which way that it's going to go, but it seems super cute. It is not a trope that I think I would normally go for, because the whole she's artsy and blah blah and he's gruff and blah, especially when it's diametrically opposed like that, particularly between cultures. I am not always a super big fan, but Lauren's first book, Lunar Love, was so adorable. I just had to say, it doesn't matter, I'm gonna give it a go. This book will be out on January 9th, so you can look for my arc review, hopefully before then. What list of arcs that I'm super excited about, romance anyway, would be complete without a Katie Robert title coming out in January as well. Specifically, January 16th is the 6th book in the Dark Olympus series titled Midnight Ruin. Now, I don't want to get too much into the plot of this in case you're not familiar with the books. Obviously, as the 6th one, some things have happened, but I reviewed the first book in the series, Neon Gods, and ever since then, Michaela and I have reviewed every other book in this series together. We have lots of thoughts and feelings. In particular, we thought books 2 and 3 were incredible. 4 and 5 were okay, but 6 seems to suggest that it wants to bring it back to the more dark romance situation that we were promised in the first book, and it kind of got away from a little bit as it's done some more plot heavy books. So we are really fascinated to see which way this book goes. So again, you can look forward to a joint review from Michaela and myself about this book in January. So coming out on January 23rd is The Bookbinder's Guide to Love by Catherine Garbera. Now, I saw the cover of this, which I hopefully have put up, and I just thought it looked beautiful. The tagline on this one is a witchy, witty, wickedly sexy tale about love, books, friendship, and the unexpected connections that bind us together. So this story follows a female bookbinder named Sarah. The plot here is a little wishy-washy on whether these books are actually magic or not, so we'll find that out together. But she is a bookbinder who has worked under a mentor for ages, and when this elderly gentleman dies, she is kind of left adrift, and she inherits from him a box of antique journals. And his brooding grandson shows up and says, "Those are mine and I want them back, and who are you? It was my grandfather." And so basically she says, well, you can have the books if you make it a number of weeks working in the shop with me, and we'll trade off memories of your grandfather and maybe the books as well. So it seems super cute. I love the setting. I love the idea. Super cute and curious about this bookbinding element, whether or not it's magical. So we'll find out together about that, I guess. Again, this book comes out on January 23rd as of filming, so we'll see my ARC review hopefully prior to that. So moving into February, although again, I do want to say all of these release dates are tentative. Things come up, the publishers change the dates. So as of filming, and this is again before Christmas, before this book comes out, these dates were what they were, but they may change. So moving on to February. Coming out February 6th is The Last Days of Lila Goodluck by Kylie Scott. This book is also a little bit magical because this story is about Lila Goodluck, who inadvertently apparently saves the life of a witch who offers her a series of predictions, such as that her boyfriend is cheating on her and the name of her soulmate, and she's like, that's not possible. But then as these predictions start to come true, she realizes that her life is not what she thought it was. However, one of those predictions is her impending death. So this book has, you know, a soulmate who sweeps in from out of nowhere, her potential death hanging over them, and just kind of like the meaning of life and happiness and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really fascinated by this idea. I don't know how it'll work out. I feel like the things about her impending death, it's a romance novel, right? She can't actually die, right? Guess we'll find out together at the beginning of February. I have made a choice, which is to request an ARC of Tessa Bailey's new book, Fangirl Down, which is supposedly the first book in the Big Shots series. This book will be out on February 13th as of taping. Now, as you may remember, the last time I tried to review a Tessa Bailey book, it did not go well. I tried to read Secretly Yours, and wowza, was that a thing. But I have enjoyed other Tessa Bailey books in the past, and in particular, I've really enjoyed them when they have a sports element to them. So I'm gonna give this one a try, even though the sport in question is not one that I'm super interested in. This follows a male golfer who used to be on the top of his game and is now really down on his luck and losing everything. But at all of his tournaments, there's this really sunny, cheery girl who comes and supports him, and he just cannot figure out what she's doing there, and things happen. He invites her to be his caddy, and it really just does seem like your quintessential grumpy sunshine slash refinding the meaning of life situation. I'm not sure what's gonna happen here, considering how I felt so strongly in not good ways about the last Tessa Bailey book that I read, but I like the concept. I think it's cute, and I want to give Tessa Bailey another chance because I have so enjoyed some of her other books. For example, her Hot and Hammered series, which I did a whole series review of, I thought was fantastic and had very unique elements. So I'm just really hoping that Secretly Yours was a blip and this new series will get back to doing some of the better stuff. So coming February 27th, Fallon Ballard has a new book out. Now, if you haven't seen, I reviewed 2 of Fallon Ballard's other books, and they were fantastic. I loved them so much. And so the second I saw this new book called Right on Cue, I knew that without a doubt I was gonna read and review it and just hope and pray and wish that it was as good as the other 2 books of Fallon's that I've read. This book follows a female screenwriter, kind of, this will make sense in a minute, who has been famous for writing romantic comedies. However, tragedy has struck and she has sworn never to write one again. But, you know, this thing comes up, she is enticed to do it, and she says, well, what the heck, I'll give it one more go. And she was apparently an actress when she started and they want her to star in her own movie. So she says, sure, I've got nothing left to lose at this point. And so they start filming and something happens to the leading man, leading them to bring in an actor who she has a beef with from her earliest film, which turned into a disaster, and she blames him for it. So I suspect there's probably some other things going on in this relationship. I'm super hoping it is a second chance romance. At the very least, it looks like enemies to lovers. But I just love every book Fallon Ballard has put out so far, and it was just an auto request for me, and here's hoping. Now to a book also coming out on February 27th that is definitely a second chance romance. We have The Partner Plot by Christina Forrest. This follows two former high school sweethearts who get a second chance in a marriage of convenience. So basically there's Violet, who is a very up-and-coming fashion designer, celebrity stylist, and she was at the top of the world, and then she had a very public breakup with a now ex-fiance, so she is in Vegas to blow off a little steam. And who does she run into there but her high school ex-boyfriend, who they haven't seen each other in years and years, and they have a wild night of fun that turns into an accidental marriage, which they then realize can boost both of their careers to get back at that ex, all that kind of stuff. However, as they get into this marriage of convenience, they realize that there are still some old feelings there that were very buried, and now they have to deal with that. I love, love, love a good second chance romance, so I'm very excited for this one. I'm not always a super fan of marriage of convenience, but I think in this setup it works, and so I'm interested in exploring how those two tropes come together in this one. So coming March 12th, we have Happily Never After by Lynn Painter, and when I saw the premise for this book, I knew 100% I just had to request it and see where it led. So the female lead for this one, Sophie, she is about to get married when she finds out that her soon-to-be supposedly husband has cheated on her. And so she knows that she can't go through with the wedding, but she doesn't want to be the one to call it off, and so she hires someone who is known as a professional objector. After this guy, Max, comes to her wedding and she pays him to object, and it gets the wedding called off during the anti-wedding party. They get closer and she asks about his job, and she decides to join him in also being a professional objector. And the two go to weddings, you know, where they're paid to object and wreck the wedding, and they just have a lot of fun together. But then they are hired by someone to object at a wedding where the bride is Max's ex, and it becomes really emotional and really real fast. Does Max still like his ex? Sophie likes Max. Can they break his ex's heart again? We'll find out together when I read this book, because this plot sounds really, really great. It certainly doesn't feel like anything I've seen before in quite this way, so I'm excited to see where it takes us. So the last book on this list is also coming out May 12th, and it is Really Cute People by Marcus Harwood Jones. So this is a book that Michaela and I hope to buddy read together for a number of reasons. And so the main character here is Charlie. They have gone out on a work trip to supposedly like be alone and clear their head from some like family work stuff that's going on. However, when Charlie opens the door to what they thought was a private rental, there is a cat chasing a bird and a small child, and then the parents of all of these creatures, a couple named Hayden and Buffy, are also there, and there's just chaos all around and no one really knows what's going on. Hayden and Buffy promise that they'll leave the next day, but then a snowstorm rolls in, and then all of them are trapped together for a week-long work/personal affair. This book is really interesting to me and Michaela because it is a poly romance. These people are set up to become a trio, and this is something where poly relationships aren't often seen outside of like dark romances where it's just considered like a kink. And this has the very typical like pastel cartoony romance cover, so it's clearly like more, it's just people being people, and Michaela and I love that. We love the representation. We hope that it's good, and so we are hoping to do a joint review of this and see how it goes, because it seems really interesting and it definitely feels like something I've never really seen. So again, hopefully the book is good and we can bring that joint review to you guys in March. So that is my plan for my romance arcs in the first 3 months of 2024. We'll see if I follow it. We'll see if I decide to review them all or if I review some different books. You never know, things can happen. But I wanted to give you an idea of these books that I'm looking at, and maybe if I never get around to reviewing them, at least you've heard about them and you can add them to your own TBR if you are also interested. But in the meantime, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we will see you. We have so much planned for the new year. I can't wait to release some videos talking to you guys about it. So while these are my personal plans, keep a watch on this space. Michaela and I also have some joint plans. It's gonna be a great, great new year. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.